First of all, again, thank you to have the opportunity to speak here. So it's really an honor to be here and to get engaged with all that nice and knowledgeable people from the same kind of field. A quick introduction of Sanofi. I will not really talk a lot, just want to say we deliver excellent products to our patients, and it's a great place to work. And by the way, do we have Devendra here? Is he here? I don't see him anymore. No, okay, then maybe later. We cannot start, in the pharma industry, we cannot start a slide without explaining mission and strategy. I tried to, for sure we have a strategy with great words and with polished slide decks. I tried to translate it a bit and our mantra and to explain it to our internal customers and to our environment is always like the why, the what, and the how. So why are we here? So when I say mission, it's the mission of our team, so the team I'm working in, I have the pleasure to work in, and our mission is basically, well, the mission of entire digital R&D is to transform Sanofi R&D into a data-driven organization and enable scientists to better collaborate, gain new insights faster, and accelerate drug discovery. I think we heard already a lot of that today. And concretely, what are we doing is, we do data capture and workflow automation. We do data integration with the ecosystem. You can imagine we have many. And how do we do that? It's again, we are focused, but also we are agile and we embrace agile and we operate in pods. We try to use sprints as much as possible. Still, we are not there yet, but we are really in a transition and we are really close, I would say. Also, what we would like to do is we would like to provide a global harmonized data model and to automate processes wherever possible. And we do that with one core platform. Now, as I said, we are organized in pods. Today I would like to present you one particular use case, but I will mention the other ones because they are really relevant and maybe they might be interesting for you, and maybe we can have a discussion afterwards to exchange on those subjects. Okay, so what's the period there? It's strange. Okay. So there is the fast-track ELN. This is the use case I will deep dive a bit afterwards, so I will not lose a lot of words on that one. It's basically a global rollout of our ELN solution at the global scale, including all our therapeutic areas. Oh no, it's the wrong button. Okay. We have a project, it's just NGS, so next generation sequencing is where we are supporting our scientists on the data flow of our NGS data from the instrument into AWS buckets, where we also help them annotating metadata to the respective experiment. What's next? Next one is the bioassay repository, and this is a super fundamental project for Sanofi. We are using the same core platform we are using for our ELN and for our NGS purposes, and this is about establishing or defining a global core model for bioassays across research and R&D with an interface to request the same and also defining the result structure downstream and offering the registration itself within the ELN. We have another pod which is dealing with a GXP deployment, so we are also for our early development teams. We are operating in a regulated environment. Yeah, then we have another pod. So you know, as most of the big pharma companies, I would say, we have a lot of mergers and acquisitions, and there's a bot dealing about integrating them and onboarding them to our ecosystem. And then we have in vivo studies, which is basically the rollout of a solution to manage the design and the processing of in vivo studies, all managed on the same platform. So now, the one specific use case is the ELN, what we call the ELN fast track. So basically, so what did we want to achieve? Or what is the current situation and what are the challenges? So in Sanofi, we had multiple ELNs, which at the end was resource binding. We were not implementing, but we were having data silos. And later on, if you want to, to remove that silos, at the end, you would need to have an increased consolidation effort to bring the data all together again. And for sure, if you have multiple applications, you have a higher total cost of ownership. What else? All the legacy ELNs we had, they were old, I would say. Meaning with all the bad things you have. So really, the UI was not very user-friendly. It was on-premise, and the entire strategy, most likely for the majority of you, is to go to SaaS. And it had long-lasting release cycles. Then you had, and this is more an opportunity, we have multiple TAs. At the end, they all need an ELN. And they even more need, in some cases, to hand over the data. They want to exchange on best practices. They need a simple and stable solution. And we would like to accelerate our mergers and acquisition onboarding, I would say. So at the end, what we need is to roll out a single ELN solution which is hosted in the cloud and has state-of-the-art user interface. It needs to be flexible enough to address the needs of multiple TAs. Yet, we need to be able to roll it out in a rapid way. And that's why we came up with the fast track. And I think we could tackle the most of the points. But we cannot do that, or we could not do that without the proper preparation. So you cannot just go out and roll it out. So we gave for us some time to prepare. Also, not only from a technical perspective, also from a how do we roll it out. So from a methodology perspective, meaning in that way we said, and this is not coming from our intention, we embraced it, because it's really a strategy at Sanofi. We need to be agile. We need to get organized in pods. And on our side, it was more like, okay, let's try it out. So we did set up a model. When it comes to tooling, we were setting up a Confluence, a Jira, and all let's say the industry standard tools, I would say. What we also would like to do when we roll it out, what was that we want to have short feedback cycles, really, not like in a waterfall, really like we do something, we ask for feedback, we do something, we adjust, and so on and so forth. Then, if you would like to do something in a rapid way, from my perspective, there was no other way than to design kind of a core model. You need to have a starting point. So you need to design something which is customizable and which you can easily adapt, but still it's not something very specific, because then you will have endless discussions with the business which will not meet our, which will slow down the entire rollout process. So we designed a standard benchling project structure and an authorization model, and we also designed a standard template, which is still and actually respecting good laboratory practices. We did also some preparation of training materials, and what's also a very key and important point, and in some cases often forgotten, is to design a support model. So what happens after the rollout? So we started small. Our first deployment was like our tryout, how to say, or MVP or whatever, or pilot or name it, with a small affiliate in China, where we really tried that out, and then we adjusted and we updated a bit our core model, and but after all, I think so. No, I jumped a bit now. I think it's okay. So this is basically our journey then. So in the beginning, we designed that rollout package. We did a small MVP with China, and then really we rapidly were scaling up, or were able to scale up. So we rolled it out to IDD in France, US, and Germany. You see it with the little flags. And then next quarter, we had already oncology and LMR. And towards the end of 2022, beginning of 2023, we actually were deploying all the countries, all the solutions with our all the countries, all the TAs with our solution. We also can say that we have overachieved the initial target, because throughout the course there came other requests like, look, there's this merger and acquisition, we need to onboard them. And we did that in a rapid way, and we only could do that because we were adjusting our methodology all the time, right? So when they were asking us, we were at that stage where we can deploy something within 4 weeks, with a core model, with training, with a handover to run, and all that. And as of today, I didn't check the concrete numbers, but what I can say is that we did this deployment, and we were deploying about 1,000 to 1,200 users within 1 year, and now we are towards, I don't know, 1,900 active users on Benchling. I think I can say that. Yeah, that's it. And what was also interesting, and that's you see on the right side, on the bottom, if you ask yourself what that is, so in Sanofi we have a concept, we call it a gig. So everybody can, because we were also looking for people who are willing to support us, mostly from the business side, on communication, on getting feedback from the users who are already live. This is something we really need to expand and to get better on. But in Sanofi, we tried to do gigs. Basically, everybody can apply if he's interested into the subject. He can apply there. There's a process behind it. Will even come up in their internal resume. So we try to also leverage that by expanding our network, let's say. We had a couple of replies, so that was also a great experience, I would say, because the first reply was from somebody in Australia. I didn't even know that we have an affiliate there, so that was really very interesting. And you get the people who really would like to support you. Okay, next. So, key success factors, from my perspective, agile ways of working. And when I say agile ways of working, I'm not talking about Scrum, Kanban, or whatever. It's really about the short feedback cycles, the light governance, because none of the lab heads or an SME or a scientist would like to hang around in governance meetings and having 30 escalation meetings and what. We really keep it simple, lightweight governance. Then we are open to adjust the methodology. First training 6 weeks, it's too long, it's a lot of idle time, so okay, let's try 2 weeks. Still try to establish a cycle time, it's like a feedback cycle with the customer. So that all worked out pretty well. Then for sure, another key aspect is the team. In fact, for me, that's even the first one. So don't get it as an order 1, 2, 3. It's just listing down they are all equally. But really, the team is very important, and we had a great support here because they knew the business already very well. They were the same people who were maintaining let's say, the legacy ELNs key aspect was also they were, since we did a global rollout, they were talking in, so there was the capability to talk in local language, so French, US, German. We were lacking a bit of Chinese, but I think that was manageable. Then, what is also very key, but that's, I think, very obvious, if you do projects, you need business leadership, you need a commitment, they need to provide, so when I say they, like lab heads or deciders, or who can say, look, I give you this capacity, how often that week, to work with you on the business side, because otherwise it will just not work, because when we did, so part of our methodology, and since we had that feedback cycles, we had regular calls with the SME. Look, this is what we did for you. Can you please test? Can you validate? Okay, now there's an adjustment. Okay, then let's meet in 2 days and review you, let's review in 2 days our adjustments and then come back to another meeting and just check it out. That was very, very efficient, and it's very relevant to have the business leadership as a key stakeholder from the beginning. That was my presentation. Sorry for not saying thank you.
Thank you. That's a picture paints 1,000 words, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, written in white. Yeah. So, questions, please. Okay, we need the mic runners. So we got the mic runners. There you go.
Yeah, that.
Hello.
Yes.
Great presentation. Thank you. Interesting. You said as part of the project there was a number of incumbent ELNs that you had in your ecosystem. What did you do with the data from them?
Excellent question. We moved that question a bit aside because in Sanofi there's a global initiative ongoing for an archival solution, right? So they come behind us, right? So there's a global solution, a global team as well, who will archive the data and make it also available to our scientists. Yeah, but that's a very valid point. That's always like, it was I don't know how to say that but it was always like a topic everybody was dancing around. You know, okay, you can rapidly roll it out, but what happens with the existing data of the current ELN? So, but luckily we had this other initiative who are coming behind us.
And there's also that I'm in a study or I'm in an experiment that may last for 3 months, and I've got to do it in one and in the other one. So.
And I think we just said, okay, any new experiment starting from a given time frame, benchling.
Yeah, and then you finish off in the other one, and then yeah. Good.
Thank you. It was really good to hear. We have had a very similar initiative, not with Benchling, but with another notebook, and have had really very similar experiences. This is very confirming for me to actually to watch this. Also with the archival, I can share that we have chosen the same path, not to import 33 terabytes of data, of legacy data for it's like 20 years or whatever. It made no sense, right, to start out with that. So we are looking at an archiving solution as well. But what I wanted to ask you, you touched that you need a support model. You said that's what you said, but you didn't really say what the support model is. And it would be interested to know how do you see the support model of your solution, like once you have like the templates out, etc. Like,
did Gabriel ask you to ask that question?
No, not at all.
Yeah, no, I mean support. So in Sanofi, in principle, we are very standardized when it comes to support model. We have our service now, we have our SLAs, we have various statuses there. So we have gold status, silver status, and whatever. So we have a process, like really a kind of a very sophisticated process. Sometimes I think it's a bit too sophisticated to onboard applications there, right? So, and for the operational part, Zifo provided the the resources there. So we have a managed services team in India who were very knowledgeable already to follow that process to get onboarded. And starting from there, it's a piece of cake. You have a team. The scientists log a ticket, for example. You have various, you have a change. So there are different categories. You have a change, you have an incident, and all that. So various categories that they log it in ServiceNow. It ends up for us in a Jira, right? And then we prioritize. And if there is something to discuss with Benchling, this is then again on us. So if a ticket is qualified as, okay, we cannot answer it internally, it goes up, okay, can we answer it? No. Can Benchling? Yes. Okay, then somebody from Sanofi will get a call with Benchling, or we'll bring it up in a governance we have with them to get it treated.
Cool. Any other questions? Yes.
So many microphones. Hi, Marie Govek from ScienceGo. I'm wondering, you said that you finished rolling this out end of Q2 2023. I think I saw on the slides, somewhere around there. 1 year later, have you seen the value of this move? Was it worth it, or is it too soon to say?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, 1,259,670. Got it? No, okay. So first of all, what we did was also part of a housekeeping exercise, right? Because you have multiple ELNs, that's not sustainable. So the value was given by definition, I would say, by default. We did service, so basically kind of, how do you like the solution? Is your work now easier? Can you now put in your experiments faster? Do you find your experiments better than before? And we had quite a good result. I think out of 4 points, we had 4 or something like that. But it's a very valid point. And at the moment, we are investing also a bit in keeping the interaction with the live users going, asking, setting up community. We would like to have kind of a key user community so that we have a point of contact to the business organization. We are a small team on the digital side, to be clear. I mean, for that scale, we are at, 10 people, and we cannot do projects and run and all that in parallel. Was it worth the investment? If it's beside the housekeeping activities, I think it's a fair point to check that out, and also to measure, is it really used a lot more or the same way or differently? So we are not there yet. Congratulations. Yeah, thank you.
One more question down there. Oh.
The question is related to the other application around ELM, for instance, LIMS.
Okay.
Or other application connected through API. So it was a challenge for you to redo the connector, to redo the link between all the application. And did you review as well the LIMS? Because as we saw since this morning, the first slide where ELN and LIMS are together, I would say, as a core.
That was not a consideration. We were just really rolling out ELN. But you saw maybe in the beginning in the slide what we are doing in other parameters. This is we would like to interconnect more the instruments. We started now with sequencers. We are now also looking into flow cytometry experiments. It's not there yet, but it's where we do scoping activities, and so. But this particular rollout we just rolled it out, housekeeping, get rid of the other things, of the legacy ELNs. And I must admit, they were not super heavily integrated, so it wasn't that of a challenge.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Michael.